All right, Steven, I think they're ready for us. You ready?
Man, you gotta fix that intro, but yeah, let's go.
I know. All right, let's get it. So what's up, everyone? It's another episode we're bringing to you what we got next. I'm Christian Hayes, one of your co-hosts, and we got my boy Steven Springer here with us to provide you with more content in the cryptocurrency world and also the sports world. Shout out to the haters out there that didn't like our intro. If you got anything to say, just let us know. We'll try and fix it. If not, just keep rolling with it because clearly we're doing something right because I'm starting to see more subscribers over the weeks. What's up?
Look, bro. I mean, we both follow the sports media landscape. We both have the people we like. We have the people we don't like, but we don't like them because they give trash opinions.
Yes,
and they just say shit to piss people off or to get people riled up, like Skip Bayless, Stephen A, all those dudes. But I mean, they all got millions of dollars to spend on production for intros and things like that, and we just thought of that on the fly. So I mean, shout out to the hate. At least we have. I guess it's kind of cool that we have haters. Yeah, we have haters though. Like we've been doing this for what, like 2 months, 2.5 months.
That's what's crazy.
And we already have haters.
I know, right?
Bring it on, bro. Bring it on. Hey, as long as those haters keep listening, that's all that matters.
That's what I'm saying. So what gets me is on the video that the person put the comment, they said they're not going to watch the video because of the intro, but you already gave us the view we needed.
Yeah.
So,
but like, I don't know, what is so bad about the intro? I don't understand. Like, it's not even like you're not saying anything that's like aggressive.
No,
I mean,
I've seen so many different things. People saying that we need to show who our subscribers are. Another one saying the intro, and I'm kind of like, dang, at least we're getting people to look at our stuff.
Yeah, so, I mean, like you said, you already gave us the view, so that's cool. I appreciate you.
And the likes are getting up there. Thank you to everyone for the listening to our videos week in and week out. The quick slants, and we'll go into that in a little bit. We're starting to see a lot more people listen and watch the quick slants. I'm starting to see some of our older crypto review videos, especially like Unison. So thank you everyone out there for those. There's 745 views now for the Unison video. And that's a big thing. Something that I keep telling you guys every single week. And 1 week you'll end up being like, damn, I wish we listened. Listen to the quick slants. So far, the Penn State is 3-0. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steven.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, and every single week, the content Steven puts out in the quick slants is relevant. It's something that you all start to see on Saturdays, on game day, and everything. They had Auburn this week, and if you missed that content, go back and listen to that. But we'll touch on that when we get into college football. Something we want to just end up starting with is next week. So we have some big conversations that are coming up. So we will have Pop Network that'll be coming on next week, and then we have our boy Tyler coming back, Steven.
So, word?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So let's go.
They have a lot of big information that'll be coming up. So I want to sit down with Tyler to end up just touching on it again. Tyler is definitely someone that's a good friend of the show with Safe Haven. We love what they're doing over there. If you want an in-depth analysis on Safe Haven, you can either check out an old video we did here, check out our Medium when we sat down with Tyler, or you can end up checking out, we just did a thread on the Shift Movement Digital Twitter account that just highlights a lot of things with Safe Haven. Since we're really close with the Safe Haven community, they retweeted it. So thank you to all the 100 people who end up liking it and retweeting it and just giving your thoughts on it, because it's a company that I think a lot of people need to learn more about. So those two are coming up next week. If there's any cryptocurrencies out there that you think we should end up bringing on the show, let us know, because we're trying to continue to end up bringing you all quality content in a different space. This is something, and Steven, I'll talk to you about this. It's something that I've heard a lot of feedback from either people listening or even different companies that come on afterwards. They're like, this is so different. You guys take the time to end up having a conversation with us or researching information. You're not just asking questions like everyone else. And that's the biggest thing I think we try to do. Not make it that we're saying question, all right, next one. Question, all right, next one. It's more so talking to them so they don't feel like they're doing what they do every single day. So, and then Steven always gives his secret 2 questions that every single time it's a different answer.
Every time.
If we have any producers or people that know how to do the editing and want to help us out, snip every single Bitcoin question we asked, that's something that we would definitely appreciate out there.
I don't
You
know if
can
we'll
like,
pay you for it, but
yeah, I know.
we'll give you a lot of love. We'll boost your resume a little bit.
Yep.
We'll get you on the show, talk about this and that. But yeah, that'd be dope if we get all the ones we've done so far and get those questions and get that out there. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So highlighting some of the cryptocurrency stuff, because this week we're going to touch on a lot of football. That's going to be a huge thing for us. So the first one, Philadelphia 76ers. So they agreed to a deal with crypto.com. Crypto.com is some, before I touch on the Sixers side, crypto.com and FTX are doing so much in terms of sports. And I just got to say, they're definitely helping the cryptocurrency sector market in itself, because the awareness for the space is getting out there. A lot more cryptocurrencies are getting put on crypto.com. Shout out Luxo for being on crypto.com. That's a big one. But the deal is worth annually approximately, by Joe Pompliano, $10 million a year. So the patch is going to be up there and a lot of people are going to end up seeing it. It was funny, the pictures that you're seeing now, because if you look years ago, you would see like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. But nope, them pictures are just showing Joel Embiid from now on. So I thought that that's something that's interesting. Another thing out there is Robinhood. Congratulations to them. They're finally working to end up.
Saw that.
Yeah, they're finally working to get crypto wallets. I was telling everyone in the beginning, you want to make sure to own your own crypto. And a lot of times on these different places like PayPal, Venmo, and even, well, Cash App is different, but PayPal, Venmo, and Robinhood, it was more so IOUs, like, all right, this is how much you have, but you can't do anything with it. So Robinhood is looking into end up allowing you to withdraw it and send it other places, which will bring them a little bit more back to where they were. A lot of people are starting to say they're not for the people. So this will be something huge that's for the people. And if they start to add more cryptocurrencies. So that's something that can set them apart. Last week, I also got to sit down with one of the founders of Checked just to talk to them off air to end up learning more about Checked and what they're doing. And it's something that I think a lot of people need to end up looking into. So if you don't know about Checked, they're big in the self-sovereignty identity space, and it'll help you, for everyone out there that might have a billion different passwords to things. You won't necessarily need a billion passwords to your bank accounts and your different accounts. You can have a self-sovereign identity with Checked, and everything will be verified through that one area. You'd only have to change your password for one and be fine for everything. So you'll start to hear me talk a little bit more about them moving forward. Congratulations to Demetra. They just launched on KuCoin today. Their initial price was $1.20. I saw them go as high as $11. Some of that is because of botting. Always gets in there quick. I remember I was getting off the plane and everything, waiting for the taxi, and that price was over like $8-9 at 5 o'clock. Y'all released at 5 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. How the hell y'all sitting at $11? So a lot of that was botting, and then it brought the price back down. But I still, in general, congratulations to them, because that's one that I did say you want to have on your radars. Invesco and Galaxy are working. They filed to try and get a Bitcoin ETF. It's not necessarily going to get passed because a lot of different people are working to end up getting an ETF passed, but it is something good that we do like to see more people filing to end up getting an ETF. And congratulations to Real Fever. We've had them on the show as well. They are bringing out their second set of NFT collectibles in-game videos on September 30th. So that's something else that's going to be big. One of their highlights are going to be Cristiano Ronaldo's first goal ever scored. So they're huge in Portugal. They're doing a lot of Portugal-based players. And I do believe, I haven't heard any information from them and the team, but I do believe that moving forward, they will move into other leagues, but also other countries. So stay tuned for what Real Fever has to do over there. And that's the big news in the cryptocurrency aspect. In terms of CoinMarketCap, just to give you guys a little bit of update. So as of this recording, it is September 22nd at 8:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bitcoin is sitting at $43,490. It did dump all the way down to $40,700. And some of that, a lot of people like to bring up what is happening in China. So Evergrande, they're seeing, looks like it's going to go into default, and China is not about to bail them out. And that is big because when you see a real estate company like that going to potentially into default, a lot of people in America and other places think, is this going to impact the housing market in other areas of the globe? So that's partially why the prices in cryptocurrency have started to fall. You can see that there is a little bit of a correlation with the stock market and cryptocurrency market right now. And then in turn with that, altcoins are very much correlated to Bitcoin right now. So we want to see if there can become some separation with that. You will also start to see that Tether USDT is sitting at number 4. And a big impact of that is a lot of people when they sell, because when the markets are red, they put their money into USDT and other stable coins. USDC is sitting at number 9 as well. And then you also have Binance USD, BUSD, that's sitting at number 14. So you do have a couple that are sitting within the top 15. Ethereum is back over $3,000. It did drop to around 2,600, 2,700 within the last couple of days. Cardano was at number 3. Binance Coin is sitting at number 5. Ripple is still chilling up there. Solana, congratulations. They're at number 7 at $149.73. And you have Polkadot that's still up there too. One that I want everyone to start looking at outside of Avalanche, I want you all to look at Cosmos. Ticker symbol is Atom. I really do like that blockchain, but Avalanche is another one. We had Leo from Pangolin on the show, and what they're doing over at Avalanche is a lot. So make sure to just stay tuned, not necessarily what the blockchain itself is doing, but look at the different cryptocurrencies that are being built on the blockchain of Avalanche, because there's a lot that you will start to see. And as we continue to move throughout these next couple of months, it will be important. A lot of people look at the stock to flow model, and that is important because it is sitting at a great spot right now. Some people are predicting that it will drop a little farther down, Bitcoin meaning probably into the 30,000s, but we want to see if it sticks to the stock to flow model as we continue to move forward with everything. So just wanted to give some snippets on the cryptocurrency market as usual. Like I said, this is going to be a big show for the sports aspect, because next week it'll be heavy in the cryptocurrency market. With that, I want to just touch on a couple of things with Steven. First one, what are your thoughts on Conor McGregor?
You talking about his lame-ass pitch? Yeah, bro. Look, man, you and I were talking about this earlier, or talking about this, was that yesterday?
Yeah.
Like, first, like there's multiple layers to this that we were discussing. And one of them was that was just a horrendous pitch. I don't care if he was wearing a suit. I don't care if he was wearing, workout clothes. None of it would have mattered.
No,
it was gonna be bad no matter what. And then I don't know if I sent you this, but there was a side by side of him and 50 Cent doing it.
Yes.
If people remember, go on YouTube or whatever and look at 50 Cent's first pitch. It was at a Mets game. I don't know, about 5-6 years ago, whatever. Both lefties, and both went complete opposite directions. And like 50's, like 50 released the ball before it got got to the top, like before the follow through even started. And McGregor's just was like the same thing. His was like a sidearm type of thing. It was so bad. Both of them were just horrible. Like I don't know if you do this, but like when I'm watching a sporting event and something bad happens, I think to myself, oh man, I could do that. Like I could make that. I can make that free throw and not airball it. Like the whole you remember we talked about this before. Kemba Walker scored 5 points in 52 minutes in an NBA game.
Mm-hmm.
I still believe that I can score 6 points in 52 minutes. This isn't the same as getting a pitch to home plate.
Mm-hmm.
Like that first pitch thing. I know for a fact that I can get the ball to home plate without bouncing it, without throwing it into the stands, without throwing it to the camera guy or whoever's standing behind home plate. I know I can. Will it be a strike? No, maybe not. It won't be like in the strike zone, but I know I can get it to the plate without it going haywire. And you would think that if you're part of who was it for that he was doing the opening pitch for? Do you remember?
No, so I don't even remember the team.
It doesn't matter. Let's just say it was the Yankees. You would like if I'm one of those teams that's doing this.
It was the Cubs.
Okay, it was the Cubs. Oh yeah, because he's saying during the 7th inning stretch too. If you're the Cubs, you would think that maybe you would reach out to Conor McGregor's team, right? And say, hey guys, we're thinking about doing this with Conor, doing the ceremonial first pitch. Awesome. Can he throw a baseball straight 60 feet? It's 60 feet from the mound to home plate. Okay. And most of the time, they give you the option of standing in front of the mound. So that's another like I don't know what it is from the top of the mound to the base of the mound. Well, 5 feet, 6 feet or so. You're even closer. Like you would think that they would ask that question. Can Conor throw the ball straight 60 feet to get to whoever's standing behind home plate? And if the answer is, ooh, maybe, okay, we'll go practice.
Mm-hmm.
Go practice. We'll give you
something.
this isn't like they're not calling him at noon the day of the game and saying, hey, we're scrambling. Can we get Conor McGregor to come do this? They're probably doing this like a month in advance, or if not longer. I don't know how much time they give these people to do this, but like go practice. I know you're a great Conor McGregor can kill me with one punch for sure. Right. Absolutely. But I know for a fact I can get the ball at the home plate easier than Conor McGregor.
The biggest thing I've probably looked at it 5 times while you've been talking. First off with it, he threw it and it went right, but the person that was catching it had to go left because the ball like bounced and it just went the other way. And I'm just thinking, don't you at least practice in the dugout? You got all this money. Practice with your kids. Do something to just throw it.
Do you remember George Bush throwing it after 9/11? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like the most iconic first pitch in the history of first pitches, whether it's good or bad. That man had every eye on him in the entire stadium, all over the country. Everybody was watching him. And I think I remember the story that he was in the, in like the locker room or, in the bullpen or wherever he was practicing. And, Derek Jeter asked him, are you going to go from the mound? Are you going to throw in front of it? He's like, oh, I was going to throw from the grass. He's like, no. You got to go from the mound. He said, don't bounce it because they'll boo you. Mm-hmm. And that man threw a strike.
Yeah.
So like if George Bush can throw, and he was probably in his 60s, whatever, if George Bush can throw a strike after that at Yankee Stadium in front of Yankees fans, after everything that just happened, you should be able to throw 60 feet, no pressure whatsoever. If you're an athlete, I feel like I've talked about this with a buddy of mine, not to go like complete tangent here, but it's a great feeling having just like general athleticism. Mm-hmm. Like being able to like, dude, I went to a bachelor party in the summer. I hadn't thrown a baseball in years, probably, but that general athleticism, that muscle memory, you just get back out there, you just throw a baseball or you throw a football. Well, I can go to the park and shoot hoops. It might take me a while to get warmed up, but like, I remember how to do it. Golf's the same way, like all that kind of shit. How can you not throw a baseball? Like if you're Conor McGregor, who's probably considered one of the best athletes on the planet based on like what he does and how elite he is at that, how can you not throw a baseball straight? How's that possible? Like my son can do that.
Yeah.
And there's video proof of my son doing that.
Yeah. My God. There's no reason for him to be able to do it. And the funniest part is he tried to like stretch out his suit and everything.
No, it was not the suit.
That's when I said, woo. And I was just thinking, you could have scooted closer or something. You can throw it clearly that far. You just can't have it direct. But you can clock somebody in the face or hit somebody in the right body part. Kick.
And I feel like all these celebrities who try and do it, they always try and throw a fastball. No one's asking you to do that.
Just toss it.
Like
there,
this isn't a tryout for you to come out in like the 8th inning and throw, and throw a 1, 2, 3 inning. Like you're just throwing one pitch that takes, a couple seconds to do this. It's just like, come on, you're one of the best athletes on the planet, and you just lob it over there. We're not trying to throw a strike, a heater, we're not trying to throw 100 miles an hour. Just lob it in there and get it to the plate. That's it.
Yeah. So sticking with the MLB just really quickly. So in the AL, we have the Tampa Bay Rays that are sitting in overall first place. So they have a record of 94-59. Whenever I see these records, the fact that they play over 100 games is just wild. And I personally don't think that it's something that I could ever, one, be a season ticket holder for, two, sit for a bunch of different games.
Yeah, where are the Pirates at on that list? The Pirates, are they
so the Pirates are 57 and 94.
Let's go. We're We're getting there, baby. Let's go.
And the best record in the MLB is the San Francisco Giants at 98-53. So they've been doing well over there. But I think that a lot of people don't realize how good and tough the California teams are with each other, because you have the San Francisco Giants at 98-53, you have the Dodgers at 97-54, and then you have the Padres at 76-74, and they're all in the NL West. So they're all having to like compete with each other. Whereas you have the NL East and you have the Braves at 79-70, and then the Phillies at 77-74. And then unfortunately for the Nationals, ever since they won that title, they just fell off a cliff because they're 62-89.
Ooh. Like,
yeah.
Joe, I was watching I think it was Sports Center. And first of all, when was the last time you watched Sports Center?
Maybe yesterday or 2 days ago. Not officially Sports Center, but I was on YouTube looking at clips.
That's not the same thing. I mean, like on the couch, you got ESPN on, and Sports Center comes on.
Like, not Sports Center. Yeah, long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute, right? So I was watching it last night, and bro, they were showing a Marlins highlight, which I didn't know that they could still do that. Bro, there is no one at those games. No one at the Marlins games, and they spent like $1 bajillion of like the Miami people's money to build that stadium, and no one goes because they're so bad.
Yes,
they're so bad. I mean, the Pirates suck. I understand that, and I'm fully aware of that.
They don't have the worst record.
No, the Pirates have the dopest stadium in the league too.
Yes.
So like you don't go to watch the Pirates play. I mean, sure, it's part of it, but you go to get some food, get a beer, maybe go with your buddies or like your wife or whatever, and you sit in the right spot. And then, first of all, there's no bad seats in PNC Park. Have you been there before?
So I went over there because I took a tour of like all the stadiums on my own. The stadiums are all right near the water, right there. They're nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no bad seats in that place. And when the sun sets at the right time, oh, dude, it's perfect. But like the Marlins Park, like, I mean, it doesn't help that the Marlins are dog shit.
Yeah,
they're
it's crazy because when the Heat played, people weren't going to the games right away. No. They were doing other things. So you can only imagine what the Marlins are dealing with over there. I also brought that up because I was looking at the standings, and the Pirates aren't even the worst. I feel so bad because I used to like the Diamondbacks way back in the day when they had like Randy Johnson and stuff. They have a record of 48-103. Like,
that's tough to do, man.
That's so tough.
That's tough to do.
You have 100 losses.
That's really tough to do. I wonder what the record is for most losses in a season.
So sorry, the Orioles have the same record. They're 48-103.
Dude, they've lost like 600 games. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you do? Like, you've been drafting people, like getting them into the different leagues, like the minor league and stuff of that nature, but I don't really know how you end up doing that.
That's tough, dude. The Philadelphia, let me look at this real quick. You can keep talking. I'm going to look at
looking at that, because I was able to see like some of the minor league players that are coming into the farm leagues for the Orioles. I'm just like, damn, they're not good. Granted, I understand that the Yankees aren't the best, but they're 85-67. At least they're above 500. Whereas
the Yankees had like a 13-14 game win streak for a hot second, and then they lost like 7 in a row. Real quick though, the Philadelphia Athletics, 1916, had a record of 36-117. So, and then the most recent team is the 2003 Detroit Tigers. They were 43-119.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I honestly think. How do you feel? Like, if you're a manager, there's no way you get after one season. Like, if you lose 100 games, I think that has to be.
You're gone. You're gone halfway through the season. There's no way.
Yeah.
if you're winning, if you're the Tigers and you won 43 games out of 162. If you're like, you won 43 games out of 162.
That's
like,
bad.
Bro, I don't know. I don't know what the math is, but I don't know how many games, like, you're winning one out of every however many games, bro. You're going through maybe like 3 managers that season, probably. It's a couple interim guys.
You
Dude,
have
that's
to.
oh man, like that going through on like the 0-16 Lions, going through like Penn State went through a couple of seasons where we won 7 games in 2 years. That was pretty bad, but like this is just brutal, dude. Brutal to be a part of that because that's a long season too.
To lose that many, yeah, and they play sometimes like doubleheader. So you're telling me you're going to lose twice in a day, and then you have the 3-game series where you got to travel. But I do understand they get paid a lot because they play so many games, and they don't have to have sold out arenas and stadiums. But
No,
there's no way. Like
that's terrible, dude.
that's bad. The other thing I wanted to talking about chemistry and stuff. LeBron James is taking his teammates to Vegas for a 3-day chemistry thing. What are your thoughts on that one?
I mean, I'm assuming that means they're just gonna go to Vegas for 3 days and just party.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that? I mean, I don't know what like the details are. I didn't get the itinerary for that, so I'm not too sure. I'm sure they're gonna hoop. I mean, what is that? Like, what are they gonna do? Like,
because they called it a chemistry building team. They're planning a mini camp for the Lakers. So of course they're going to end up like doing some partying. I do think that, but why you got to take them to Vegas? Like you could go anywhere else to end up. Yeah. It's not like J.R. Smith is saying, oh, let's go to Salt Lake City and there's nothing else to do. There's a hell of a lot to do in Vegas.
It's Vegas.
Yeah.
It's Vegas.
You're going there.
I mean, they're probably get a nice Airbnb, get a nice couple rooms, couple bottles, this and that. Like, I mean, cool. Yeah, it should be like 3 days in Vegas would be pretty dope. I'm sure LeBron's paying for it. I'm sure everyone can front their own way, but I'm sure he's spotting it. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's I'm pretty sure LeBron's comfortable with most guys on that team already, knows them already. But it might just be like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. This is kind of how we want to do things this year. This is the chemistry, how we want to kind of run the offense through AD or through Russ or whatever. So, yeah, I'd love to go. I think that'd be dope. Right? I love to spread 3 days in Vegas on LeBron's dime. I'm sure that'd be pretty dope.
Hell yeah. It helps a lot of the rookies and stuff who don't have the money to end up going. Because I know some of them probably won't make the team, but to be able to say you get to go to the mini camp with LeBron, that's probably big in itself. So those are the ones that appreciate it. Carmelo, it's like, all right, this is just another day chilling with him. I think it does help Russell Westbrook and then LeBron, because LeBron hasn't done this with other teams or they haven't announced it. Whereas them announcing it, clearly it's one of those LeBron's not trying to lose this year. Yeah. Like he's going to do anything possible.
Speaking of 3-day thing, I see you, for those who can't see us right now, Christian's rocking that Venice Beach shirt.
Yes.
My man just got back from Cali.
Yes.
But you texted me late last night and said you were stuck in where in Texas somewhere?
Yes. So I was stuck in Texas.
Because you had engine failure. Is that what it was? Bro, when you texted me that, I imagine you flying over Texas and like you look out the window. It's one of those situations where like you look out and the engine's on fire.
So that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that was
because I wasn't trying to. Like, cause I wasn't trying to rock solo tonight. I was like, oh man, my guy's gonna. Oh man, this is gonna be a story and a half.
So I'll tell you guys this now, and then it'll save some of my talking for later on. So I was flying back from San Diego, and for anyone out there, I understand exactly why Qualcomm Stadium didn't make it for the Chargers because the people out there don't really care for football as much. There's so many other things to do. We drove by the stadium so many times. They're destroying it now because they're making San Diego State a new stadium over there. But it's in the middle of where it should be like, wow, this is a huge stadium. Like think of how FedEx Field is. You just like driving by that on the highway. You see it and you're like, damn, like that's a big stadium. You just drive by Qualcomm Stadium. It's like, all right, and then let's keep going. Where's the mall? Like that's what's more important than the other things. But yeah, we flew from San Diego. I went to Texas, Fort Worth, Texas. And then my friend, his flight stopped in Atlanta, Georgia. And first off, I don't like American Airlines. American Airlines, I talked to you guys earlier, still don't like you. And we were there and they were like, all right, we're about to get on the flight. We're on the flight and we get in the air and everything seemed too good to be true. Like I had a seat in between me and the other person. Like everyone was relaxing. Everything was fine. We're in the air. I have my phone charging. My phone stops charging. So I'm like, all right, I don't know why my phone stopped charging. Like the Wi-Fi, like people couldn't watch movies anymore. That was a little weird. Then they get on the intercom after 40 minutes in the air. Yeah, we had a little bit of issues with one of the engines. So we turned the engine off. And
Oh,
we are going.
you were in the air when this happened. Oh shit, dude. I didn't know that. I just made that up. Bro, I thought you were like on the tarmac or something.
We were
That
in the
changes,
air.
bro. That changes everything about your flight experience.
So we were 40 minutes in the air, and at this point, they told us there was engine failure. So they had to turn us around. First off, we're in the air for 40 minutes, and I'm like, damn. So we got to go back 40 minutes in the air. And they
you get any drinks or anything before all that?
Oh, hell no. Because I was like, all right, 2.5-hour flight. Like this won't be too much. So we fly back. And we get there and they're like, just let you know, there's going to be a bunch of emergency personnel that are going to be waiting for us as we land. When I tell you, as soon as we touched down, there was like 7 or 8 ambulance, fire trucks, emergency vehicles that escorted us back. That's not even the worst part. We get there. They're like, yeah, we'll have another plane at 9 o'clock. It was probably 8:20 at this point. 9 o'clock came, 9 o'clock went. Oh, midnight is when we'll end up being able to do it. So around this point, I'm texting Steven, like, I don't know if I'm going to be back or anything like that. So midnight comes and they're like, we're still looking for a crew to end up getting you guys out. And I'm like, what the hell? So a lot of people stayed in like different hotels and stuff. I was like, hell no, I got to get back. Like I have a life to end up going back to. Don't feel like being stuck in Texas. Love Texas, but I didn't go to Texas. I was in San Diego for a reason. And so then at 12:30, they were like, all right, we got a crew, like you all can get on board. Get on the plane. The plane is cold because it had been sitting there for 4 hours. Then the pilot says, if you look out the right side windows, you can see the fuel tank putting fuel in the plane. They didn't put the fuel in yet. So they didn't even put the fuel in the plane. So they didn't leave till 1:20. And then I didn't even fly into Reagan. They said, oh yeah, we're going to fly you guys into Dulles and then we'll give you a taxi voucher to get you guys to Reagan. So that was
Bro, you were in the air. That's still like
I was in, and that's
so
the
did
worst part.
Did they just like just turn that bitch around and like come right back?
Oh, that's exactly what they did. And you could tell like the plane started to sound different. Like it was loud and it was a little quieter because you only have one engine. Now 1 or 2 engines and like one of them was out. So it was a little quieter.
Hold up. Okay, you know what? Let's pause right there. Let's pause and we'll keep going and because I know you want to touch on this at the end. So let's pause real quick and I'll ask my question at the end of this.
Okay. So I want to touch on the AP rankings for you. So what are your thoughts? One, talk about Penn State because that's a big thing. They played Auburn and won, and they moved up in the rankings. So they're at number 6 now in the rankings. I'll go through everything 1 through 10, and then I'll let Steven give his thoughts on it. So Bama's still sitting at number 1 because, of course, everyone knows that Nick Saban's trying to go for perfection year after year. Georgia's still up there. Oregon's up there. Number 4, we have Oklahoma. Number 5, which is the big one that I think Penn State needs to get over for them to end up continuing to go well, is Iowa. So the Hawkeyes are number 5. 6 is Penn State. 7 is Texas A&M. 8, Cincinnati's been having a nice year this year. So I do got to say shout out to them. Number 9, and I think they're up here for more so their like name at this point is Dabo Swinney and the Running Shoes and Clemson University. And then I know, and then number 10, we got the Buckeyes. So what are your thoughts?
I'm glad to see that Penn State moved up as far as they did from 10 to 6. I mean, you look at Penn State's, and I'll talk more about this in the quick slants coming up tomorrow. But you look at Penn State's wins on the road against Wisconsin. Wisconsin has Notre Dame this weekend. It's a neutral site game, so that's a huge game. I'm going to be pulling for Wisconsin, obviously, in that one. Good to see Ohio State fall again. They played, I think, Tulane over the weekend, and they won by a handful of touchdowns, but they still gave up over 500 yards. Their defense is ranked in the lower third of all Division I football or whatever, like FBS or whatever it's called these days. Clemson, struggled. So I didn't obviously. So for those of you who don't know, I was at the game, Penn State game on Saturday night, and bro, you missed a day.
How was it?
You missed a day. It was it was. I mean, you've been to the night games with me, bro. let me tell you though, it was because usually when we go to the night games, it's mid-October, end of October. So it's 20 degrees cooler than it usually, than obviously, this time of year. Bro, it was steamy out. It was hot. It was hot. It was humid. And we were over. So the way the Penn State tailgates are set up is like there's your standard tailgating around the stadium, which everybody has, but then they have separate tailgating lots for like, you can come the day of, you don't need a parking pass, whatever. But then they have an RV lot, which is people come in with the RVs, and there's like hundreds of them. And they come in Thursday night, they stay till Sunday. And that's where we usually start our tailgating day at, is over in the RV lot. Because if you go later in the day, you ain't coming back. So we start there, and we stayed over there during college game day and waited for it to end. Then we left. By the time we left, it was already 80 and humid. So it kind of sets the tone for like how much you're going to drink, because, when it's like, 65, I mean, bro, you can drink we can drink all day and it's no problem. But when it's hot and it's humid, drinking beer, like it sounds good on the surface, but once it starts going down, it doesn't feel good. So you want to keep drinking the water. So, I mean, good news is, and you know how I can get during those games, I didn't get to that point of the day. I didn't get to, because when you get to like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon during a night game, and you've been drinking since 9-10 o'clock in the morning, you can either go one direction and keep drinking and say screw it and not remember anything else for the rest of the day, which Christian can tell you that's the direction I usually go. Or you can make a very big life decision and go the other direction and stop drinking and coast to the rest of the day and through the game, because the game is going to be 3 hours long, starts at 7:30. So I put on my big boy pants and I took the other direction and I stopped drinking and I coasted through the game. So that was a big team win for everybody. I was not hungover for my drive home. I enjoyed the game. It was dope.
Steven didn't get lost.
I didn't get lost. The crowd was like, it was epic as shit. So, but it was good to beat a ranked SEC team, which the Big Ten has definitely struggled with over the years, whether it's regular season or in the bowl games. But back to the AP rankings, I know everyone's surprised to see, Iowa and Penn State as the two highest ranked Big Ten teams, and not Ohio State, not Michigan, not Wisconsin, whatever. So, it's Penn State started the season at 19, and it took them three games to get up to number 6, because they've had two of the more impressive wins that anybody's had this season. So that's awesome. Paul Feinbaum of the SEC Network said that you can argue that Penn State should be number 4 in the country, because of the wins they've had. And it's like, who has Oklahoma beaten, who has Oregon has probably maybe the best win in the country, going to Columbus and beating them, a handful of weeks ago. So, I mean, it's cool to see Penn State ranked that high. We have Villanova this weekend. The boys should take care of business. And then we have Indiana, another night.
October 9th.
Yeah, another night game in State College, 7:30 on ABC. And then we go to
October 9th.
We go to Iowa. And Iowa doesn't play. I don't think they play anybody big until then. Both teams should still be undefeated. I mean, knock on wood, Penn State should take care of business this weekend and next. So Kinnick is going to be rocking. And I'm almost positive that game is not going to be a night game. It's either going to be at noon or 3:30, which is good for Penn State, because night games in Kinnick are always a trip game. So I'm glad that's not going to be a night game. But I mean, looking at the AP right now and seeing 6 next to Penn State's name is, I don't think anyone expected that. Your boy did, though, of course.
Yeah, I know.
If you've been listening to the Quick Slants, I've been calling it. Shout out to Sean Clifford. Shout out to Sean Clifford was 28 of 32 on Saturday night. My guy was on. I'm pretty sure he was perfect in the second half. Shout out to the boy Jahan Dotson, 10 catches. Offensive line kept Sean Clifford clean. Shout out to actually, I'm going to save this for the end. Yeah. Well, no, I'm going to save this for the end of the show today, because I'm going to talk about this today, and I'm going to talk about this during the quick slants, and then I'll get into that. But yeah, seeing that number 6 next to Penn State's name is pretty fucking dope.
The two things I want everyone to know about, so that October 9th game is going to be big for Penn State moving forward. But the other big thing for Penn State in order to move into the top 4, pay attention to Georgia and Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure, not going to guarantee it, but I think one of those two will be a loss sometime going forward, of course, with the SEC and how they are. But that's Penn State's big hope to end up moving into that. I don't really see Oregon. Oregon's one of those teams that they'll either have a really good year and they'll continue forward, or they'll have some random shitty game that they end up losing. Bama, with Nick Saban, I don't see them losing. So I could see Bama still getting into it, but I can see whoever wins that October 9th game, I almost think they'll find a way to slide in.
So I said that I don't think Iowa plays anybody coming up before that Penn State game. They do play next Friday. They do play Maryland at Maryland.
That's a game.
Friday night. And Maryland, I dislike Maryland strongly, but they're on the come up right now. And I think, if Iowa looks too far ahead, looks ahead the following weekend, yeah, that could be it's not gonna be a trap game, because Maryland's is a good team this year. But yeah, if they're not careful, Maryland could really do some damage. And then that same weekend, Georgia plays Arkansas, who is also on the come up this year. So yeah, there's a lot of games in there, and Alabama plays Ole Miss that weekend as well. That's the same weekend Penn State plays Indiana at 7:30. Oklahoma plays Kansas State. Oregon plays Stanford, who routed USC, which got Clay Helton fired. Again, Ole Miss plays Alabama. So there's a handful of games in there where, if some teams aren't careful and Penn State takes care of business like they should, you can see Penn State moving up even more before that Iowa game.
So with that being said, we're going to end up moving over to the NFL, next step up, and we'll end up going through recapping the games from last week. Then we'll recap the game. Well, we'll go over the games for this week. But before that, 3 players I want everyone to end up putting on the radars. One, for more so fantasy purposes, pay attention to Cordero Patterson, but then also Rondale Moore out there in Arizona. It's tough.
Facts.
Yeah. So they have a bunch of different receivers there, but a lot of people are saying, oh, Christian Kirk. What you all need to realize, and a lot of times people think you need to look at catches necessarily, look at how many targets and how many times someone is on the field. So Rondale Moore has been on the field a lot, and the amount of targets he's been getting compared to Christian Kirk is what's important. Hopkins is, of course, the number one. They don't have Larry Fitzgerald out there, and then AJ Green's there as well. But AJ Green's more so that one person you'll give it to if you need like a clutch moment and they're double teaming DeAndre Hopkins, and then if the other two aren't necessarily performing. But so pay attention to Rondale Moore. Cordero Patterson's a big one just because he's been taking over a lot in the run game too, but he's also very good as a wide receiver. So he's been helping out Matt Ryan there. They have Mike Davis as well, but Cordero Patterson's starting to create his own position and role within the offense. 2 running backs that had great games last week. First off, Aaron Jones had 4 touchdowns, 3 receiving, which is a big thing. I think they said first time since Danny Woodhead. And then you have Derrick Henry that had a monster game out there. So that was the other thing. And a lot of it was some of his big runs towards the end of the game. If you watch the game, first half, it wasn't really a huge Derrick Henry thing. Second half, and overtime, that's when Derrick Henry started taking over. And that's how he'll wear down people, just going through the ground and pound every single time. If you do that, Julio Jones had a nice game as well. And I think that's how it's going to be in the offense for the Titans. It won't necessarily every single week be AJ Brown, Julio Jones, both of them doing it. It'll probably be one or the other at times, which helps. And then you also have Derrick Henry on the ground. So what were your thoughts overall from last week?
So we'll get into our picks and how shitty they were. Dude, it's just week to week, man. You just don't know what you're gonna get. No. I picked Pittsburgh to beat the Raiders, and obviously that didn't go well.
Watt stopped playing, so that was a big thing.
Yeah, and I think his status for this weekend is up in the air, but they're gonna obviously, they're gonna need him for the rest of the way. So, but like Carolina surprised me by beating New Orleans
No.
when after New Orleans, did what they did to Green Bay.
Okay, with Jameis, we just found real Jameis again. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So okay, that's fair. That's fair. Well, yeah, Jameis being Jameis. In Kansas City, I thought they were going to blow out Baltimore because Baltimore was missing half their defense, and they were missing a couple of linemen, and
Took over.
I mean, it's the NFL, so like you really never know what's going to happen. Philadelphia, they look good week 1. They scored 11 points against San Fran, who had to come all the way from the West Coast. Shout out to the West Coast teams, man. Like it seems like it's a big thing coming this way. Yeah,
I mentioned to a lot of people about Philadelphia because people were like, "Oh, Philly looks great." Big thing about Philadelphia is they played the Falcons. Falcons don't necessarily have a great team, and it pissed me off because Hurts and Watkins, that was a long connection, and then they chased him down. And I was like, damn, it was like 90, 95 yards receiving on that one catch and throwing catch. So that was a big thing that if they would have scored that would have been a difference in the game. But the Eagles do got to step it up a lot.
The Jets suck.
Zach Wilson had so many interceptions.
The Jets are awful.
Yes.
Tom Brady is still great.
Tom Brady, yeah.
Jacksonville sucks. Did you see what Urban Meyer told? I can't remember who it was now, but he said every weekend in the NFL is like playing Alabama. I don't know. I don't know like what the context of like what that answer came from. But of course, like everyone just takes that part of that could have been a whole paragraph of an answer, and they just take that little bit and chop it up and make it what it is. But if obviously every weekend is like playing Alabama. Okay. Dude, I hate how bad the Giants are. I
feel so bad for Saquon.
You and I talked about this last week during the game, and they had a shot at winning, but Dexter Lawrence jumped off sides, so that sucked. But
shout out Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, your boy almost blew it though.
He really did. I was watching it with my friends, and we were FaceTiming, and we're like, "Yo, Taylor, he really threw an interception."
Yeah, this guy.
Come on, man. This guy, yeah,
bro. He quickly went from putting OD we're talking about this game. Quickly went from putting ODU on the map to taking them off the map to putting them back on the map.
Yes,
in the span of like 3 minutes.
Yes, yeah. The defense helped them out.
I hate how bad the Giants are because injuries happened last year, so that was kind of whatever. But if they didn't have a terrible offensive line, then maybe that injury doesn't happen. They're just ruining Saquon Barkley's career, and it's really unfortunate. And I hope that he doesn't re-sign with them whenever he's allowed to do that. But first of all, did you watch the Packers game last night?
Yes. So where
were you at when that was
Monday?
Was that engine failure or what was?
No, I was in Venice Beach. I was
yeah.
chilling, like playing basketball, and then we were watching people skateboard. I'm like, damn, it's like 5:00 here. Why the hell the game on? And that's what I forget. Like them games are on. I understand why the West Coast doesn't care as much about football, and it also stops because they're doing so many other things at that time. They have a whole other day. But yeah, I was watching it.
Did you see the throw he had to the tight end? I think it was threw it right over. Literally, like could not have been a better pass. And I was watching the Peyton and Eli thing, which they got a ton more viewers this week. Like that's just going to keep growing, which is awesome. So I'm going to keep watching that instead of the broadcast. But Peyton Manning was losing his mind over that throw. It just like it was. I mean, Aaron Rodgers just does that every week. And you're just like, damn, he's still that dude. No matter what's going on with him and the Packers or him and his family or his fiance or wife now, whatever, like it doesn't matter. He's still that dude.
Monday Night Football next week. Eagles Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm going with the boys because they got the homie Micah Parsons. Shout out to Micah Parsons, and Penn State fans know him as Jason Oweh, but I think it's Adafe Oweh. Now he changed his name. DN for the Ravens had the game-winning forced fumble and fumble recovery against the Chiefs. He had a couple tackles for loss. He had a hit on Patrick Mahomes that resulted in a pick. So shout out to the better young defensive players, or probably the two best young defensive players in the league right now. Penn State just producing talent. That's what we do. Just putting dudes in the league. So come to Penn State if you're a big time recruit. Get your boys. Come to Penn State. Yeah, we'll push you in the league.
So I want to recap last week. So I was 10-16. Steven was 9-16. So our overall records over the last 2 weeks, I am 18-32. Steven is 16-32. So there isn't really that big of a difference as of right now. But it's also really tough because so many things changed in the NFL over the offseason. Then we had COVID. So you're trying to figure out what teams are doing, and so many trades happen because you have the Cardinals that are doing excellent out there in Arizona. But then you also have the Seahawks, who you thought would beat the Titans. And all of a sudden, Derrick Henry says, all right, we about to go off. But then Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. So his one loss, the way he did to Jameis, isn't an indication of how the season's going to go because he just provided something else. But it does show you that the Lions aren't just going to roll over and lose. They're going to try and give some sort of fight. I think a lot of that is Jared Goff being like, y'all just definitely traded me to Detroit, and I got to figure out what the hell I'm going to do here so I can get out of there.
And they got Baltimore this weekend too.
No.
So
that's a game.
Are we doing the picks? Are we doing
this? So we'll do it in a second. Shout out TJ Hawkinsmith, because he's someone that focused. If you have him out there.
What did you call him?
TJ Hawkinsmith.
Oh my God. All right.
And how do you say it?
Isn't it Hawkinson?
Oh yeah, whatever.
Oh my God, though. Yeah, but shout out though. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So he's been doing good out there. Focus on him because he's basically their main receiving option.
Don't focus on him because he's not a real player. It's Hawkinson.
Oh yeah. Focus on Hawkinson. Jeez. I'll focus on Hawkinsmith. Over on my side and see how far I end up getting. But the first game we'll end up doing is Panthers and Texans.
Oh God, I hate that I'm gonna watch that game. I hate that I'm going to watch the Panthers and the Texans, but I'm going the Panthers.
Shout out Tyrod. I don't know if he's playing this week or not, but
yeah, who's going to be the quarterback? Who's going to be the quarterback this week for the Texans?
Somebody off the street. Somebody off the street.
Yo, that's unbelievable.
I had the Panthers as well. Christian McCaffrey's been doing well. That's kind of what Saquon was hoping his team would be like, so that he had more space to run. Sam Darnold is trying to do things out there. So this is his prove it season as well, because he didn't get that deal. So he's trying to end up doing something for it. They have the receivers. Robbie Anderson's there. DJ Moore is there. So they have a lot of talent around him over there. It's good to see Christian McCaffrey not injured and he's able to do things. Go back to like fantasy football noteworthy Christian McCaffrey. Next one, Colts Titans.
Colts.
Okay. Wow. So
no. Yeah, Colts. Yep.
Only thing is, all the
time out. Did you see that Carson Wentz has 2 sprained ankles? Bro.
Gonna keep getting injured.
Bro, he has 2 sprained ankles. How do you even walk?
I don't know.
Are both feet on? Are you using crutches for both of them? You got a scooter, bro. 2 sprained ankles. Yeah. One is bad enough. Like one hurts bad enough. I couldn't imagine. Imagine doing that shit.
You're waddling.
Imagine doing that at the same time though. Like you're playing hoops and both your ankles just go out.
I can't do that.
Bro, he's not. You know damn well he's not playing. Bro, you know damn well he's not playing 75% of those snaps.
Hell, that's right. He's getting injured all the time.
No way,
every
dude.
other week he's injured.
No way,
for
bro.
some reason or another.
Nope.
So with that being said, I have the Titans. The Colts have a good defense. I'm just hoping the Derrick Henry we just saw comes back again. So we'll end up seeing what happens with that one. The next one, which is not as easy, given off of what the Chiefs just did, but Chargers Chiefs.
I'm gonna go Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much faith in the Chargers, and it's an Arrowhead. I'm gonna go Chiefs. Bounce back win.
Yeah, so that's the other thing I was going to say. The Chiefs don't lose two in a row too many times, and they're in Arrowhead, which is a crazy place to play. So Justin Herbert will have to figure out if he can get through that. The offense for the Chargers is good, but I have to go with the Chiefs. Next one, another bounce back game, Bengal Steelers.
It depends on if Ben Roethlisberger is playing. If Ben is playing, I'm gonna go with the Steelers, and if he's not playing, I'm gonna go with the Steelers.
So either way,
so
hey, y'all got
no, actually no. If Mason Rudolph is playing, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. Actually,
you guys got another backup quarterback.
Dude from Ohio State, right?
Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It doesn't matter who's playing. Dwayne Haskins, Dwayne Johnson. I don't know. Dwayne Wade. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
I got the Steelers as well. One reason being the Bengals are not bad, but I think they have a couple of years before
they're getting there.
Yeah. So I think that they're much better than where they were. I can say that. So they're not guaranteed to lose every single game. Next one, Bears Browns. Jarvis Landry's on IR.
First start for Justin Fields as the Bears quarterback.
Is Dalton injured? I think so.
I think he hurt his knee. And head coach of the Bears, Matt Nagy, said that when he's healthy, he's their starter. I hate
when they say that.
He's just saying shit. They all know that Justin Fields is the starter going forward.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton can be healthy. He's not going to play. I'm going to go with that said though. I'm going to go with the Browns.
So I got to go with the Browns. When you have those two defensive linemen over there, I'm not really going against them on that one. Next one, Ravens Lions.
I'm going to go with the Lions. I think I don't think there's such thing as a trap game in the NFL per se, like there is in college. But I just think this is one of those games. It's in Detroit. No one likes going to Detroit. I'm gonna go. You would think that the Ravens are gonna be riding that high because that was a super dub win for them. But I'm gonna go with Jared Goff having a big game, and I'm picking the Lions.
So I'm going to go with the Ravens. A lot of the Ravens, when I pick them, it's going to be a bias. But Lamar Jackson is trying to prove it a lot because last year they started to say he was like under the radar. If you look at fantasy football, people are drafting him lower too. They weren't drafting him as high as the other ones. So I think that Lamar Jackson has a lot to prove. This also is one of those things. He reminds me of a situation like Giannis Antetokounmpo, whereas they have to prove a lot so that they can get other players to want to play with them. And I think Lamar kind of has to do that because there ain't no damn wide receivers that ever want to go there unless you're Des Bryant. And I'm just thinking all he needs, just give Lamar one wide receiver. If he has one wide receiver and then has like J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards back, I think the offense is set because they're starting to hone in on Mark Andrews a hell of a lot. Like he doesn't get the same amount of touches that he used to end up getting because who are they going to throw to? I mean, you have Sammy Watkins, Marquise Brown has been doing good, but I'm not trying to be mean. I think he's going to get injured at least once. He just has that, like, it's just going to happen. And when it happens, don't be hitting me up, everyone out there. But I think it'll happen like 1 week and then they'll have to figure out what to do with that. So that's why I got the Ravens. Next one. This is an interesting game. Saints Patriots.
Oh God. I'm going to go with the Pats because it's in New England. And Jameis Winston is Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
So he could throw 5 touchdowns or he could throw 5 picks.
Yep. You don't know.
There's no in between.
So what's crazy is start to pay attention to Jameis Winston's stats because his interceptions are creeping back up to match those touchdowns he just had real quick. And he's playing the Patriots where the Patriots just had 4+ interceptions against Zach Wilson. So they're going to love getting Jameis Winston too. Because they know who to guard already. Just shut down Alvin Kamara as much as you can and just figure out which receiver on the Saints you want to end up blocking out. And Jameis will at least throw 1 interception. I can promise you that. He's not going clean. One, if you can bet on 2 potentially, but he's throwing an interception. If he doesn't, then they're going to win the game more than likely. But he's throwing something. So I have the Patriots as well. Next one is kind of tough depending on who you ask. Cardinals, Jaguars.
I'm going Cardinals.
Okay.
Another team coming from, Cardinals coming from the West Coast, going down to Jacksonville. That's, it's not really a tough place to play. But yeah, I'm gonna go Cardinals. I think I think the Cardinals are. I don't know if they're gonna. I'm not gonna say they're gonna surprise people because I thought they were gonna be good this season anyways. But I think as the season goes on, I think they'll be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league as the season continues to go on. I think Kyler Murray is just gonna be. I say like there's like a college team, and they're just gonna chuck it and chuck it and chuck it, and that's what Cliff Kingsbury wants to do. He's got the right quarterback for it.
Absolutely.
He's got the right receivers for it. You
Yes.
mentioned Rondell Moore. Anybody who watches college football knows what he did at Purdue and knows how they used him. So yeah, I think Arizona is gonna I think they're gonna start rolling, especially over Jacksonville.
Oh, absolutely. So I have the Cardinals as well now. And the only thing is the Cardinals are going to remind me of how kind of some other teams are. They have an amazing regular season, but those teams, when a playoff comes, it changes. Like someone will find a way to stop it. I can see them getting to the Super Bowl in a couple of years. I don't think this is the year. As long as Tom Brady's still there and Aaron Rodgers is still there, I don't know if that's happening. So I have the Cardinals as well. Next one, football team versus Bills.
In Buffalo, I'm gonna go with the Bills. Washington's defense didn't look as great as advertised against the Giants. I mean, Daniel Jones was running all over them.
He likes to run and he likes to fumble.
Yeah. And Josh Allen, your boy, he can also do the same thing.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go. It's in Buffalo. Buffalo loves playing at home, so I'm gonna go with the Bills.
So I'm going with the Bills, of course, but with the Bills being said, pay attention to Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. So they didn't have a great connection the first game, but they started to get back on touch with each other the second game. So I got the Bills on that one. Next one, Teddy Two Gloves versus the Jets.
Teddy Two Gloves. Yeah. The Jets are terrible, dude.
They are. And you know that defense is going to feast and make sure to find out Zach Wilson. I think so. My big thing with Zach Wilson is he's not afraid to throw the ball, which is good. He just has to be afraid of who he's throwing the ball to. Mm-hmm. So he needs to make sure
they got to be wearing green and white though.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, speaking of the Jets, I want to give a shout out to BJ. My brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. Him and his wife Morgan just had their baby today. So shout out to them. Wow. Yeah, little baby boy. Really good. Shout out.
Dang. So next one, Dolphins Raiders. And before we go, Darren Waller is coming closer and closer to being as good as Travis Kelce at the rate this is going with him. He's not there yet, but that volume is up there with Travis Kelce volume.
Yeah. I think the Raiders are also one of those splash teams this year. They'll probably do some Raider things this year, but as they always do. But Tua's out, broken ribs, fractured ribs. I think
they smacked him,
bro. That is no bueno. I'm gonna go with the Raiders in Las Vegas. Big win against the Steelers last weekend. So I'm gonna go with the Raiders. Derek Carr is playing out of his mind right now.
He's playing like the money he got. Finally.
Yeah, he got a little dinged up. I think it was his ankle, maybe leg.
Questionable.
But I think as long as he's playing, I think the Raiders are gonna win that game.
So next one, I have the Raiders as well. One just being, if you guys have to figure out a way to stop Darren Waller, like he can't be getting all these targets game in and game out. So Dolphins, if you want to do something, put like 5 people on Darren Waller, then tell the rest of the team to beat him. Because look at the rest of Henry Ruggs did good. I have to admit,
dude,
he's good for that. I was joking with one of my friends that's a Raiders fan. So Henry Ruggs' stats will be like 3 receptions for 113 yards. All of it came on 1 reception, but it'll look when you break it down, average per catch, like it's 30, 40 yards. And it's not. It's all off of 1. And that's what he'll be good for. Then, of course, he'll get like some short ones.
Yeah, he had like that 65-yard that catch. So, this is what he's going to do every single week.
Yep. So he reminds me of like a Deshaun Jackson, but I think that if he can hone in on that and stay straight and not go inside or out, he could last a long time. Next one, Hawks Vikings. Vikings, I feel bad for them because I know that kicker got to be sick for that loss.
But their kickers have missed the most amount of game-winning field goals in NFL history.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with the Seahawks defense is bad.
It is. The Vikings got a good offense.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Seattle. I like Seattle now. Bounce back win for them too.
So I got the Seahawks. Reason being, Russell Wilson's still going to keep chucking it until Russell Wilson stops chucking that ball. Then I'll stop. Tyler Lockett, he has been having a huge year so far. And people just start to sleep. I don't know what it is. They will sleep on him, but they also focus so much on DK that Tyler Lockett's just getting on the field every single time. Like, just chuck it up to him, and he'll end up getting it. So that's a good one. Chris Carson came alive too. And the bruiser he is.
Your boy.
I know. Yeah. So the year I don't get him, he want to go do this bruising stuff. And he's gone 2 games with no injuries. So I know.
Yo, you and these guys with their injuries, man. Golly, bro.
I focus on them. Bucks Rams with a happy quarterback in LA now.
Oh man.
And I don't think this is really an easy game.
No, it's not. And I'm who you got? I'm thinking about this one.
I have the Bucks, because Tom Brady's been on a hot streak. I won't bet against Tom Brady until he loses one. When he loses one, then I'll start betting against him at times.
Sure. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think this is one of those games that, as a football fan, you love because, like, in my mind, this is one of those games where Aaron Donald wants to just dominate the Bucks offensive line and get Tom Brady on the ground 5 or 6 times, which he's fully capable of doing. We've seen him do it. So I'm going to go with the Rams just because I think this is going to be Aaron Donald's game. Now, that doesn't mean that Tom Brady won't have a big game, but I think this is going to be, I think Aaron Donald has a better game than Tom Brady, if that's possible to say.
I think this game can see over 60 points between the two teams. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Like, Jalen Ramsey is only one human being, and there are like 4 wide receivers on that other team. Because if you stop Gronkowski, you still got Brown, Evans, and Godwin. And I got to give it up to them because you don't hear Antonio Brown complaining because someone humbled his ass.
Speaking of AB real quick, he's on the COVID-19 list for the Bucks. So there you go.
That makes so much sense.
I do also think that, speaking of the point totals, I think both, you can see like 800-900 yards combined between these two quarterbacks too.
Yeah. Stafford will throw it with the best of them.
Yeah.
Like, when he has receivers, he will throw it. Him and Cooper Kupp have had a good relationship so far out there. Then Robert Woods has been doing good. Darrell Henderson, pretty good over there being the starter running back.
Not bad.
But Sony Michel came in for Darrell Henderson. I have the Bucks on that one. Packers 49ers.
I'm gonna go with the Niners, and the Packers start 1-2, and everyone says the wheels are going to start falling off now.
So I have the Packers just because Aaron Jones just had a really good game. Aaron, I don't think it's this week, but coming up soon, Devontae Adams is going to have his coming out party game of this year. He hasn't had it yet. Those big, like, 150 yard, 2 touchdown games. It's going to come. And when it comes, that'll be good. They just don't have a second receiver. Like, I remember when they had like the Jordy Nelson, and then they had like Randall Cobb, and they had another receiver out there. And it was like, yo, those were the teams. Like, when it happened, you had the running backs and everything. But
they got Randall Cobb still, but he's past that point.
Yeah. He reminds me of, like, in a weird sense, how Manu Ginobili, it's like, all right, you got him, like, cool, that's fine. Like, Randall Cobb's going to give you what he wants, but he's not the same. Like, that's not your Tony Parker or your Tim Duncan. It's like, all right, you got your man that'll give you the guaranteed points, but damn, Randall, are you going to get injured too?
Can't believe you just compared Randall Cobb to Manu Ginobili.
It was a terrible comparison. But
sorry, no, I get it.
Guaranteed. Yeah. Final one, and I'll already say mine, Cowboys, but Eagles, Cowboys.
I'm going with the boys.
So I'm going
I hate the Cowboys, but since they have Micah Parsons, I wanna root for the player more so than the team. But I do think the Cowboys win the game.
So a big thing with that is the Eagles still have to prove it to me. The defense is not that good. Like, people continue to think like, all right, they can stop people. The offense is going to come alive. They don't have anybody outside of Hurts, Sanders. Gainwell's pretty good. out there. And then Devontae Smith. I don't trust mainly anyone else. Goddard's good, but that's one of those teams of, all right, whatever. So that's it for the picks. We'll end up recapping that next week as well. What you got for everybody?
Shout out to the officiating crew from the Penn State game. It was an SEC crew that came up north. They took a down away from Penn State on an intentional grounding call. And if anybody wants to go on, there's dozens of videos on YouTube about how bad the officiating crew was. James Franklin, Penn State head coach, was fired up the entire game because we were not only playing Auburn, we were playing the refs too. And luckily, it didn't cost us the game, or I probably wouldn't be doing this right now. I'd still be steaming over it. Mm-hmm. But they were, bro, when I say they were bad, they were terrible. They took a down away on a intentional grounding call that wasn't an intentional grounding call. It went from second to third down quickly. And there was a bunch of false starts they missed. They called some calls on Auburn that they didn't call on Penn State. There was a late hit out of bounds that wasn't a late hit out of bounds. It definitely could have cost us the game, but it didn't. So shout out to how bad that officiating crew was. But on the flip side, shout out to all my people back in State College, man. You know how it is. Like there's nothing like a whiteout in Happy Valley. There's nothing like a night game at Beaver Stadium. And I'll talk about this more and more during the quick slants tomorrow. But it's just it's a awesome experience. One more shout out to the boy Jay Hill. I stopped at his game on Friday night. His team was up 57-0 at halftime. Ended up winning 70-0 over this team. The team they played though had 17 kids on the field. So and it was bad. Like they were scoring every which way. So shout out to Jay Hill getting his team to 2-1, I believe it is on the season. So it was a dope weekend all around. I'll get more into it during the quick slants, but yeah, really, really glad to be back in State College. It felt normal. Mm-hmm. Like it felt like we didn't miss a year. So that was dope. So I'll recap all that and talk more about that tomorrow.
So my only shout outs this week are shout out to the people out in California and in Mexico. So we went down to Mexico, and I appreciate Delta Airlines. Oh yeah, I got lost in Mexico kind of, but I made my way back. But so I enjoyed it out there, just getting to see everybody. Again, we went up to LA as well. So we were in Hollywood for a little bit. So we got to end up seeing that, went to Venice Beach. It's crazy just how things are different out there. Not shout out to the gas prices. How the hell you pay $4.50 to $4.70 for gas? We took a rental from San Diego to LA, and when we had to put gas back in, that joint cost $72 to fill up the Highlander. I am not doing that again,
bro. So let's go back real quick
to the airplane,
to the whole airplane thing. So did you really have one engine on and one engine off? Like, was that how it was working? Like you only had one engine in the air.
Yes. So
what was your thought process? Were you like, okay, like we're going to go down, or like, all right, I'm looking for the nearest exit for when we do go down. I'm going to get out before everybody else does. Like, I mean,
you never think about that. And I was telling like some of my friends, damn, of course this didn't happen to me, but I'm glad that they told us in the air, but for everyone out there that watches Manifest, I legit thought it was like Manifest. One, I was hoping the plane wasn't going to blow up, but I always sit on the window. So I'm over there looking at the wing, like, what's really going to happen? Like, it's dark outside and you're not really knowing what's going on. It started getting a little hot in the plane because like the AC kind of went off. I thought the lady turned off the AC next to me. It was like cold. Then all of a sudden you start feeling a little bit of heat. I was like, all right, what the hell is going on in here? So I was just hoping that we were going to make it. Once we touched down, when I tell you, normally people get up once like the seatbelt sign goes off. Bro, as soon as that plane touched down, you saw people start standing up, getting ready to like get off that plane.
Bro, I don't have a fear of flying, but if that should happen to me and I'm flying God knows where, I'm never flying again.
Oh yeah, I'm not flying. We're probably going to fly in December, but I'm not flying American. I'm only doing Delta. So Delta out there, if you ever want to sponsor us or help us out, feel free. They also end up like letting you get like an hour of free text and stuff. So I like that. But American, no, sir, not me ever again. That's the third time this year I've had an issue on a plane, like with maintenance or engine. No, 3 strikes, you're done.
That's so crazy. I didn't know you. I didn't know you had a faulty engine, bro. That's different. That's different than just like. That's different than like being on like the tarmac and just being like, oh yeah, we gotta deboard the plane for whatever reason, like they didn't put enough fuel in or something. That's like
so get that because
like 40 minutes in the flight and they're like, hey, we only got one engine, so like we're gonna go ahead and circle back real quick.
Yeah, and the kicker with that is they were like, but no need to be alarmed. Like we already talked, so we're gonna be fine.
No, bro, I'm freaking out on that point. I am yelling at everybody on the plane, like we're all gonna die. I'm done, bro. I'm done. Like I'm writing my will so someone can find it, bro.
Exactly.
Oh man, nope.
And when we got to the ground, they never told us anything ever again about the plane. We didn't get back on the same plane. We went to a different plane. The crew that we had on that plane did not follow us to the next plane.
They said deuces, bro.
We are done. Y'all can do this. So gosh. Like this is about to be the last day I see. Like I'm just gonna be flying over Texas. And I was like, where am I going to send my cryptocurrency to? What's going to happen with like the show? What's going to happen to my loved ones? Well, I guess I'm just going to die flying over Texas.
Bro, poof, gone.
Yeah, I know. Nothing else to be seen ever again.
Oh my God.
So,
well, I'm glad you're back safe. I'm glad you made it back in one piece and I didn't have to come identify your body.
I know, right?
Shout out to that though.
So that's everything that I have here. Make sure to tune in for Steven's Quick Slants. We'll also have more fantasy football stuff coming up come next week. A big week next week. We have huge giveaways as well that are coming up. And make sure to pay attention because we're coming up on October. Basketball's coming around the corner. We got more football coming up. And then baseball, we got the playoffs. I might talk about it a little.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's everything over here. I think we did enough. I'm alive, so next week I will not be on a plane coming back here. We'll be back to regular schedule as well. With that, we out.
Good night, haters.
I know, right? See you, haters.